Okay, in this next piece, we're going to start combining creating the scatter plot with the line of best fit, as well as writing the equation. So your graph has already been numbered, just like mine has. One thing you also need to make sure that you do is you label your axis. So this is age in weeks, and this one here is weight in kilograms. There we go. So you need to make sure you label that, as well as write me a title. So in this one, it would be Beagle's weight. And this is for males. You're going to do another one in a moment that is for females. Okay, so the very first thing you have to do is you've got to be able to graph this. So looking at these points, I have going over to 6. So this is 3, that's 6, up to 1. Go over to 12, 3, 6, 9. Here's 12 up to 3. 16, here's 15, here's 18. So 16 is going to be somewhere close to there. And 4.5. So there's 4. It's going to be somewhere about in there. 24 would be here, and 6.5. So there's 6. There's about 6.5. And then over to 30 and up to 8. Now I need to draw my line of best fit. Now in this line of best fit, I can actually not see my y-axis here, or my y-intercept. So I'm just going to have to approximate where it's going to be. In this case, let's see if I can draw a line of best fit through these 2 points here. That's pretty good. It fits through 1, 2 of the points. I've got these points are pretty close, and I've got one above. I would say that's a pretty good line of best fit. Now, because I cannot see my y-intercept, I'm going to actually have to find my slope and then plug it in to a coordinate to try to approximate to find my y-intercept. So let's start with finding our slope. So I know for a fact that this coordinate here of 6, 1, and this coordinate here of 30, 8, those are on my axis, or on my line, so I'm going to use those two as my coordinates. So let's do 8 minus 1, that's my y, and that would put 30 minus 6. When I do that, that gives me 7 over 30 minus 6 is 24, and that cannot simplify any down any, so that is my slope, 7 over 24. Now I'm going to use that with a coordinate to plug it in for my y-intercept. So my equation first would be y equals 7/24 x plus b. Okay, so now I need to take a coordinate. I'm going to take the 6 and the 1, since that was on my line, and plug that in. So that's y equals 7/24 times 6 plus b. That will give me 1 is equal to 1.75, or 1 3/4, plus b. I can now subtract 1.75 from both sides to get my b by itself. And I'm left with 1 minus 1.75 is negative 0.75 equals b, or negative 3/4. So if I'm going to put all that together, I've got my y-intercept here, my slope up here. So my final equation is y equals 7/24 x minus 0.75. And I'm going to write that as a fraction, minus 3/4. Now, that's not the exact one. The exact one is y equals 1/4 x minus 0.5, which is about 25%, or 25.5 for my slope. So that's about 1/25, or 1/4, excuse me, and about 3/4 here. Those are pretty close. 7/24 gives me 0.29, and 3/4.5. There's not too much of a difference. So long as you're in that general ballpark, then you are okay. Okay, so before we can get started with this one, again, we have to plot our data. So I'm going to go over to 6, up to 1, 12 and 3.5, 16 and 5, 24, and 7, and 30, and 9. Okay, so there are my points. Now let's start to form our line. I'm going to draw my line of best fit. And I want to fit it through the most of those points, not about the same amount above and below. And I've got 3 points on my line right now. That's a pretty good line of best fit, I would think. Okay, so let's draw our slope. If you'll notice these coordinates, I've got a coordinate here. That would be 12 and 3.5, as well as 1, 4 up here. That one's at 30 and 90. We'll use that one. Those two are on my line, so we'll use those two for my slope. 9 minus 3.5 and 30 minus 12. 9 minus 3.5 is 5.5. 30 minus 12 is 18. And I'm going to divide that out, see if I can get just a solid decimal. And we're going to say that that decimal is about 0.31. I'm going to round up to 0.31. The actual slope is actually 1/3, which is 0.33, so that's pretty close. Again, we're not going to get it exactly what it should be, but so long as you're in the ballpark, you're good. Okay, to find my y-intercept, I need to first write my equation. So I'm going to use that coordinate 12 and 3.5. So 3.5 is my y, equals 0.31 times 12 plus b. 0.31 times 12 is 3.72. I need to subtract that from both sides. And I'm left with negative 0.22 equals b. The actual y-intercept should be negative 1/2, which is a little bit off from what we are. But again, it's just an estimate. I would still consider this one to be pretty close. So y equals 0.31x minus 0.22. And there's your final one. Now, those are 2 examples for you. You do have, in this case, 4 problems to finish tonight for homework. Those are going to be very similar to what we just did. You're finding your slope, then finding your y-intercept. Make sure you plot your points, draw your line, find your slope, y-intercept, equation. And that's the order.